Hello, everyone that is watching us today. My name is Hannah Santin. I'm a tax advisor here at AVASK. And today we have Nadav from CapEc joining us. I'm really excited about the webinar because it's not every day that we have a successful seven-figure business and a seller as well here in the channel with us. So super excited to have you with us, Nadav. Thank you for the time today. At the end, like what I really want people to take from this webinar is how can CapEc help you achieving your business growth? Like how can they become a partner for your company? How can they be your strategic support basically to achieve this business growth? So thank you very much, everyone that is here today. Really looking forward. And well, first of all, I think that we have all been asking ourselves about your story, Nadav. Like, where is CapEc coming from? Where does it started? Why did you start CapEc? So please share more information about your story and the beginnings of CapEc.
Okay, hi. Thanks for having me, and I'm very happy to be here and share what I've gone through starting up my businesses. Um, I started selling 9 years ago and started my first Amazon business just by bringing the first SKU to Amazon. And back then, I think it was a little easier. Uh,
Definitely, yeah.
and uh, and in the time and when the years went by for the past 4 to 5 years after that, our business grew, and we started growing slowly but surely every time, bringing more inventory and growing the business and selling off the inventory and using our profits to bring more. But all the time we're basically meeting a lot of capital problems, enabling us to bring the amount of inventory that our product can truly sell and the true potential of that. And also along the way, meeting other sellers, everyone would always contact me. Would you invest in my store? I need more inventory. I can't grow. Maybe you can help and join and support our growth. And when we kept seeing that happening again and again and again, I decided to really find the right solution that can help Amazon sellers, because there's a lot of times you go to an investor and he will take capital, he will give you capital for growth, but he will take equity from your store. And we were looking how to find a solution that would give e-commerce the capital they need to grow their business and to reach the true potential without losing their equity.
Right.
So knowing the industry and understanding how true e-commerce businesses work, we built a very unique solution that is different than most of the finance solutions that are out there. I mean, most of the financial solutions out there usually finance your revenue. We come to be a partner with you on the exact purchase order of the inventory. So we'll partner with you on a purchase order, let's say $100,000 of inventory that you want to buy. We'll pay the suppliers the certain amount of percentage that we're willing to go into that deal. Usually it's up to 75%. We'll pay the shipper, and we'll join you when you sell the product on the sales and on the return. So the Amazon seller doesn't have any cash flow crunches along the way, having to pay back that financing before he even sold the product. And that's what
Right.
happens when you do
Okay.
revenue financing.
Okay, perfect. And I think everyone here today listening to us can relate to this specific barrier that Amazon sellers face and will face, that it's not having enough cash flow to actually continue growing the business. So definitely something that is really important and that can have a huge impact on the business if it's not managed properly. So super, super important, super excited to have you here today, Nadav. Thank you very much. And I'm sure everyone else, just as myself, it's keen on actually listening to a success story, like how can CapEc impact a business, what's actually the consequence of using you guys. I always love to hear like stories and how do they end it. So what kind of success story can you share with us today, Nadab?
So of course, we have multiple success stories, but just the fact that you're able to have this financing that can reach almost 75% of all your inventory purchases basically allows you to quadruple your business potential without having to have any other funding of any kind. And this enables you to, we all understand that if we brought a good product, we brought 1,000, we brought 3,000 units, now we need to bring 10,000 units. Obviously, we never made back that amount of money to be able to buy 10,000 units. And after the 10,000, hopefully you keep growing, you need to bring 50,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you have a partner like us, you can really bring the amount of inventory you need and grow
Mm-hmm.
your business exponentially really fast. And we have multiple customers that work with us who, for a year, maybe were able to grow by 30%, 40% of sales. And
Wow.
after 1 year of working with us, we're able to triple or quadruple their revenue and their sales. And we even had a customer that, after a year and a half, more than doubling his revenue, he was at around 700,000 and he passed 2 million after working with us. He was able to sell off his store and he did a huge exit. And now he's starting a new Amazon business. And that's a lot of times where the customers are looking to get to. And
Amazing.
there to
Amazing.
help.
Amazing. Well, to be honest, it sounds great. And it must be really fulfilling as well for you to be able to help other sellers because you have been through it. Like you understand the journey, you understand how hard can it be, you understand the struggle behind selling on Amazon and facing these barriers. So being able to be part of this other seller's journey and be able to support, it's amazing. It's great. So that is also for you for CapEc. What will be like? What will happen if people do not go into funding? Like what have you seen in your experience?
So as I mentioned before, when you try to grow your business without external funding, then basically you'll be always at a cash flow constraint. You're only going to be able to grow the amount that you're making. So if you, on average, a seller might make between 50 to 100% on his purchase order. So at most, that's the growth rate you can have, 50 to 100% on inventory. So you can only double your inventory maybe every 6 to 9 months. So your growth is very limited. And and here we're able to give you the ability to grow exponentially to your full potential of the store and not having to have those cash flow restraints.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And I think also like it's not only about finding a bestseller product, but at the end of the day, once you have reached certain threshold, you're also looking into developing other kind of products or going into variations of the product. So that's when CapEc can come in as a funding partner and help with this product development of other variations.
Yeah, so CapEc can help in any place that a product's been selling. So even if we won't finance a new product, we'll be able to finance the existing product that's selling well and free up capital to be able to do new products, new variations, or opening new markets in Europe and other places. Also, when working with CapEc, with our experience, at the end of the day, we're partners on that inventory. So if a seller has problems, let's say his listing gets closed, or his advertising is doing really bad and he's losing money, we're monitoring the entire deal and the store all the time because we're partners in that deal. And a lot of times we'll come with our experience and help the seller, help him get his listing reopened, help him find a partner to do better advertising, things like that. Because if he doesn't sell the product, if he doesn't make it, we're stuck. We're losing money too. So,
Definitely.
so
Yeah,
we're true partners here for the success together.
definitely. So you're basically actively taking and being part of that growth, and you really engage with the merchants as well in this process of growth.
Yes, definitely. We're
Def-
always monitoring the sales and the store, and we engage in any place that we can help and improve the success of that store.
Okay, okay, amazing. Now that I do have a question, and I think many people might be asking this themselves. Are there any limitation in regards to what type of sellers can you support? Like, can any business approach CapEc? Are there any limitations? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we need that the business has been running for at least a year, and that
Mm-hmm.
the product has been selling for 6 months, so that we have some history to see the potential and to see the growth of that specific SKU, and then we can fund it. Other than that, we need that the product won't be a perishable product, meaning it cannot have a short shelf life, because we need to know that we're able to sell off that product, or have enough time to sell that inventory. So those are basically the only restraints. We can finance any seller that's located anywhere in the world, as
Okay.
long as the product is being sold right now in Europe or in the US, and it can be manufactured anywhere in the world.
Okay, okay, amazing, amazing. And now I do have a question for you. This is a piece of advice that only people that are watching this webinar will take home, and that is, what do you wish you knew when you started your business? Like, what is that one thing or those things that now that you look back, you think, oh, I wish I knew that when I was starting my business or when I was growing my business?
So, as I said before, growing in Amazon has become much harder, and the competition and the amount of sellers out there are a lot more aggressive. And I think the one important thing is, at the end of the day, when we're an Amazon seller, we're a one-man business that has to know everything: logistics, advertising, marketing, cash flow, accounting. We have to know it all, and obviously it's impossible to know it all. So the one thing that I think today is the only way to be successful is to find success in each industry, and connect with them, and not be afraid to pay what you need, because without them you cannot succeed. I mean, if you don't have the best advertising, if you don't have the best listings, if you don't have the best copywriting, if you don't have a good financing partner, it will be very, very hard for you to compete with all the others that are using these great partners.
Right, right. And how would people know, like, if they are making the right choice? Because obviously, like, there's so many options when it comes to PPC, like campaigns, managers, or there's so many options when it comes to tax advisors. Like, what is the piece of advice that you will give people in terms of choosing the right partner or the right provider to start working with?
So in that way, I enjoy very much going to shows, and webinars and joining other sellers and being in a group of sellers. And they always have the most experience and knowledge. So if I'm looking for a partner, I will always reach out to other sellers that are in my industry that have probably tried two or three partners and many times have also had bad experience, but hopefully they found a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the best place. Recommendations, I mean, you can't go wrong with someone who is just like you using these partners. If he's satisfied, most likely you will be too.
Okay, okay. And Nadav, you and I, we have previously discussed about how is CapEc proactively helping sellers negotiating with their suppliers, negotiating the cost of goods, getting a reduction on this. How have you been able, because I mean, you must get sellers uh, basically having different products, not the same industry with but so many of them. How have you actually achieved to be able to be part of these negotiations, even though there's so many industries?
Mhm. So we act as a buyer's agent on behalf of our sellers, because we are purchasing inventory or paying for inventory in China and all around the world all the time. So, in most cases, we're familiar with the expenses. First of all, just the fact that you're able to buy more inventory with our funding, in most cases, can lower the price of the manufacturing by 5 to 10%. The fact that you're sending more inventory will lower your shipping costs. We have also our network of partners for shipping, for customs, for inspections that have very good pricing to be able to help our sellers also lower their logistics costs. So, in any place that has to do with your chain of logistics that we are part of and funding, in many, whether it's also a 3PL or a warehouse in the US, we're able to help you get better rates.
Okay, okay, perfect. What should merchants be looking for when they are choosing a funding partner? Like if I'm a seller right now and I have options of funding partners, what should I be looking out for to make the right decision of who is the best fit for my company?
So I think the most important thing is understanding what you need the funding for. Because if you're funding marketing, then you really need short term funding for a month or two. When you do a campaign, you immediately get more sales and you're getting that revenue back. But if you're funding inventory, you really need a partner that understands funding for inventory. Because if you go and try to buy inventory with a revenue funder, even Amazon funding, basically they'll give you money today, $100,000, but you only put your purchase order with your manufacturer 30%. Only 2 months later, you might have the product ready, adding 70%. Then you have to ship it out. Could take another month and a half until it reaches Amazon and starts selling. So you're going to find yourself that 4 months or 5 months of payments that you already have to pay back before you even sold a single unit. So if you're
Yeah.
getting revenue financing, you already had to pay back most of the loan before you even started selling. So it didn't really increase your capital. It just postponed your cash flow a bit. Um,
Yes.
so here it's important to understand what do you need the funding for, and then
Mm-hmm.
find the exact partner that understands the right funding for that.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. And Nadav, tell me something with your expertise and so many years in the industry, and you yourself being a seller and a successful seven-figure seller as well. How have you seen, like, what's the evolution that you have seen with obviously the pandemic? What are your thoughts of what's coming in the coming years, in the coming months?
So obviously during the pandemic, everybody moved to e-commerce because basically malls were closed, stores were closed, and you had much less options. And e-commerce jumped probably 40% from what we see in 2021. Uh, then once the stores got opened up again, people moved and shifted back to the retail because they missed going out to malls. So e-commerce went down almost 30 to 40% last year, and everybody feels it and everybody understands it. I think that now and that makes it hard because during 2022, basically anyone that had inventory and brought it into Amazon or to any online platform, it was very easy to get it sold, and you had plenty of customers to be able to succeed in your business. And then last year, I know and I've seen many stores close down or get stuck because there's so much less buyers out there. And I think that this year is going to be a year that a lot of the sellers were not that were not doing very well, unfortunately, are going to be closing their businesses, and we're going to be steadying out back into what we were pre-pandemic, with a steady growth of about 7 to 8% yearly, which is what was happening pre-pandemic. And now you just have to really make your store a lot more efficient, make sure your growth is correct, and and ride out this term of this year that also might have some recession with it. But I
Yes,
think whoever passes this year and is able to still have its products sold, it might not be a year we're gonna grow, but a year we're still gonna sell and work. Then the next years will be much easier, and the growth will start coming back.
definitely. So basically, this is the year to hold on, to continue to push on, and then coming years will hopefully, we are all hoping for that, be better. In my experience, now that I don't know what's your thoughts, you are gonna tell me, but in my experience, and even as a consumer myself, I see people going to platforms such as Amazon, for example, for very specific products. So there's things like home decor, there's things like pet products, like organization as well, that people tend to go to Amazon as a first option instead of going to your normal retailer in town to buy products. In your experience, when it comes to product categories, what are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, so I think I agree with that. I mean, also, I live in the US, so I'm also a customer and myself, and I see that when it comes to home decor or things that I need for the house, and also our customers, we see growth in, in even in electronic products like a shaver, or if you have a very specific product and you're able to penetrate it in your category, then most likely that product will continue to grow because it has good real estate in the category. um, but when it comes to, I've seen fashion and products like that, I think this year went down a lot because a lot of people went back into retail, and they wanted to able to see and touch the products before they purchased them. So those industries, I feel, have gone down this year.
Yeah, I feel with fashion, we have two extremes. People that are doing extremely well and their brands are growing massively, or people that have been basically changed by your hometown retailer, and that, as you have said previously, likely and unfortunately maybe they're going to be closing down this year. But for my experience and for what I've seen with the sellers that I talk to every day, those are the scenarios, like people doing extremely well growing in retail, or people that are decreasing their sales and are doing not so well.
And by the way, I think, I mean, obviously we're here and we're dedicated into our e-commerce, but there are a lot of networks and services out there also to connect you into retail. So if you have a good brand that's been selling well, there are networks that are pretty simple to get your brand out there to some other stores and some retail. Because even if you look at last year, I mean, e-commerce went down 40%, but sales altogether went down around 6%, meaning about 34% just shifted to retail. So
Yeah.
if you have some exposure onto the retail side, you can make it up in other ways.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Nadav. Obviously, as AVASK, we do specialize in tax compliance, tax advisory, customs, but that doesn't mean that we don't understand there's other things involved in the seller's journey, and other things that at the end of the day are going to have the same impact on the business growth. So that is, for me, that is why it is extremely important to have successful sellers just as yourself here in our channel, sharing their story, sharing how can they help other businesses growth. I'm going to be sharing a promo that we're going to be launching. It's only available for the people joining the webinar, obviously. And this is for all the people that are listening right now. This is a call for action. If you're sitting down or if you're standing up and you're asking yourself, what can I do? I feel like my business is stuck. I feel like I don't have enough cash flow or enough cash right now, and I don't know what else to do. I feel like there's a barrier in front of me at this moment, and I would like to learn how can my business keep growing? How can I keep up? Well, this is a call for you to take action and contact CapEc today. We are having this specific promotion. And well, to you, Nadav, there's nothing else than for me to tell you thank you, because obviously the information that has been shared today here, it's unique. There is advice that people won't get anywhere else. So thank you very much for the time. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your expertise today with us as well.
Thank you very much for having me, and it's been great to be able to help other sellers. And also, I want to say one thing: when you do an application with CapEc, basically we're checking your store, we're checking your category, we're checking your product, we're checking your potential. So, and we give back feedback. We don't just say yes or no. So a lot of times, just going through that process with us can give you more information and help you more understand where the potential of your business is.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, to be honest, like people can contact you to understand, maybe not right now, but maybe in a few months they're gonna need you. And it is a good idea to start contacting you today, because maybe they don't even know where they missing out. So for everyone listening right now, please contact CapEc today to really understand what is your business at this moment, but more importantly, what can your business achieve with a successful partner such as CapEc and such as AVASK.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Nadav, again, and I will see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.